Welcome back to another episode of the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. This is episode 130. I hope everyone is having a great day, great night, wherever you are around the world. I am your host, Joseph Monroe, joined by my guest tonight, Ethan, also known as The Couch Reports on TikTok. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. Ethan, The Couch Reports, covers a lot of football content on his TikTok. He talks about Oregon. He's a huge Oregon fan. He also covers the NFL. He covers it all. So, Ethan, it's a pleasure to have you on the Inquisitive Mamba podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually when I have guests on the show, I always do a short little introduction. So for you, the floor is yours. Give the guest a little introduction of yourself.
Hi, my name's Ethan. I am the creator of The Couch Reports. This is my second account. My first one was called Balls and Straws. Unfortunately, it got banned on TikTok after I posted a photo of Tom Brady in his undergarments.
Jeez.
I am originally from Sacramento. My family's from Philadelphia, which is why I'm a huge Eagles fan. When I started watching football, that's when Chip Kelly went to the Eagles. Hindsight, I'm at Oregon, just graduated in June, majoring in journalism. Huge football fanatic. My goal is to meet a bunch of fans from elsewhere. I would say I have a good understanding of football, but I'm not an expert on every team. So that's why I love meeting fans from different regions.
Yeah, of course. Well, no, I love that. And you and I actually connected through TikTok. Sometimes you'll go on TikTok and you'll go down a rabbit hole, or you'll just click sports podcast, or you'll just start scrolling on the For You page.
Yeah.
And, like yourself, I kind of just came across, and that's how we connected. So I'm excited to get into this episode. But there was so much that went on in the college football landscape this past weekend. You had the Alabama SMU saga. You had Oregon beating Penn State. Penn State almost coming back in a really close game. Dillon Gabriel played his tail off. You had yesterday we had the 4 Heisman finalists named with Cam Ward, Ashton, Jeanty, Travis Hunter, and Dillon Gabriel. So those are your 4 right there. A lot went on in the NFL, all the way going back to last Thursday night with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell putting his nuts on the table consistently. That is their system, how they have won games throughout the year, even going back to last year's San Francisco 49ers NFC Championship with the fourth quarter, 4th downs that they went for. We'll get into that as well. A lot went on in the college football landscape, though. So we'll get into it. We'll talk some Wicked as well, because I went to see Wicked this past weekend with some friends on Sunday. Ethan and I talked pre-show that he has to see the movie. I was so impressed by the movie, but we will get into that. But before we get into Wicked, I just want to hit some college football right off the bat, because I am so fired up about it. Ethan as well. He is a Oregon fan through and through. He posts that content on his social media, on his TikTok. So make sure you follow Ethan, The Couch Reports, on TikTok. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. We're at 1,060 subscribers. Follow us for some pop culture, entertainment, sports content, mainly some football, but we try to dive into some other things as well. However, we're going to talk here, Ethan, right? We're going to bring it up right off the bat. The four Heisman finalists, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter. So I know I got to ask you, is there any chance Dillon Gabriel could win this Heisman?
I'll be honest. I think we have one of the most talented rosters, which takes away a little bit from Dillon Gabriel's campaign. I am biased. I'd love to see him win. He came here. He's wearing 8 because of Marcus Mariota. It'd be a great script writing for college football. That said, we have a generational talent in Travis Hunter, and we have a historic season from Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
So I don't like my odds.
The one thing about the Heisman thing too, from what I've seen from as long as I've been watching college football, I know Mark Ingram won it with Alabama a long time ago. I know Devontae Smith won it for Alabama as well. He was the last receiver to win the Heisman. Yeah. I understand Travis Hunter has been exceptional on both sides of the ball. But what is the most important position on the field? Quarterback. So, in my opinion, and this is how I feel. Now, I know I feel like I've made a campaign for Cam Ward. I know Cam Ward is not going to win it. People have clowned me on TikTok. I totally understand that. However, the only reason why Miami is relevant is because of Cam Ward. I understand they lost to Syracuse. I understand they lost to Georgia Tech. However, if you take away Cam Ward from that Miami Hurricanes team, they would probably be a whopping 3-9 or 2-8, or excuse me, 2-10. 4-8. So I understand Travis Hunter is going to win the Heisman. We all know that. Ashton Jeanty's made his case as well. He's been spectacular. But I just think that the committee is so hell-bent on Travis Hunter because they go off of, well, we've never seen a player like this before. Yes, we saw Champ Bailey do it, but we've seen Deion Sanders do it, but to the level that Travis Hunter is doing it. So, yes, Travis Hunter is going to win the Heisman. Do I think he deserves to win the Heisman? No, I think a quarterback should win the Heisman. That's how I think it, just like in the NFL. With the MVP, that's why they have the Offensive Player of the Year. You got Justin Jefferson's won it, Tyreek Hill, McCaffrey. So, or excuse me, Tyreek Hill didn't win. Actually, Justin Jefferson won it. It wasn't Tyreek Hill. He was the runner-up. However, MVP in the NFL is usually the quarterback, right? Because that's the most valuable position on the field. That's why Mahomes has won it. That's why Brady's won it. Manning, Josh Allen is in the running this year between him and Lamar. Lamar Jackson has won it twice. But in college football, I think quarterback's the most important position on the field as well. So if you were to take away Hunter and Jeanty, then you're down to Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel. Now, my other problem too, aside from the Heisman, how did Shedeur Sanders win the Johnny Unitas Football Award over Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel? Isn't it like everyone likes to talk about stats these days? We talked about stats on the podcast a few weeks ago. My friend Jake Murphy, he works for the Washington Capitals, and we said, are fans so fixated on stats more than they are with the game? Yes. Because Drake May, for example, the Patriots are 3-10. Drake May has played his tail off. So if you right, so it's like you sit there and you go, well, the stats really matter. Joe Burrow is a perfect example. The Bengals won last night. They're sitting at 5-8. Burrow's got 33 touchdowns, 6 interceptions now. Okay, so Joe Burrow's stats are amazing, but they're not winning games. So do stats really translate to wins? And I understand that, yes, quarterback's the most important position on the field. But when you sit there and you go, stats, but are those translating to wins? And that's my same thing with the Heisman. That's my same thing with Shedeur, going back to Shedeur with the stats. Okay, he's got great stats, but did he have better stats than Cam Ward? Did he have better stats than Gabriel? We count championship games, Penn State and Oregon this past weekend, as the into the regular season, just like they did with Jeanty's game against UNLV in the Mountain West Championship, and they won that game. So, for example, Dylan Gabriel finished the year spectacular. He had better numbers than Shedeur Sanders. Yes. Why? Is Shedeur Sanders winning the Johnny Unitas Award because it's a popularity contest?
I think a big part of it is the popularity contest. If you're looking at it too, most fans, I should say, are looking at just the numbers, but not the strength or the opponent. If you're looking at Dylan Gabriel, he showed up against Ohio State, which was a big game in which everyone had Ohio State beating the Ducks. And he showed up again against Penn State where people saw it was a trap game. I am not trying to take credit away from Shedeur and what he did. I love his jump from last year to this year. Also, look at his offensive line; it did improve. His wide receiver, he's not throwing to, the biggest name wide receivers out there. I think what game was it? Fourth down, threw a long pass, probably like from the 40, and got the win. Or went to overtime. I think it was Baylor. That was an amazing game for his campaign.
Okay.
That was this year. I'm positively sure if I'm correct. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right because the one I'm thinking of was last year against, I think it was Stanford, and they lost that game. I was actually in Miami that weekend. That was the Friday night game. It was a really weird game. And they lost. Yeah, Travis Hunter had that crazy catch, but they lost in overtime. Yeah. Okay.
So this year,
so
there was a lot of flashy plays that stack up, and I think the media, when they're pushing that, especially with the fans behind it, it just steamrolls into like an avalanche.
No, you're absolutely right too, and we're going to get back to Oregon here in a second because I have my thing about Oregon.
Okay.
Oregon, they really impressed me this past weekend against Penn State. So we'll go back to Oregon here. Oregon. I said it about 2 weeks ago. I was like, is Oregon the best team in the country? Who have they really played? Now I understand Ohio State's really good. So, and now we get to see, is Oregon for real? They beat Penn State. Penn State's, they surprised me. They played a lot better than I thought they would. Oregon controlled that game. Yeah. But the thing about Oregon too, like you said, the roster is so talented. I love Dan Lanning. He came over from Georgia. He understands the SEC blood. We all know the SEC is the best conference. The Big Ten has been great this year. It has been good from recent years. I know Michigan won the national championship last year. However, Oregon, really, I think the pressure is on Oregon to win the national championship because you are the 1 seed. You did go out and you did pay. Now we say pay in college football, which is a weird thing to say. you did go out and you made sure you got Dylan Gabriel, who's a sixth year. He's a graduate transfer. So there really is no excuses from Oregon to not win this national championship. You're the 1 seed. People say, well, or the committee was saying, what do we want to do with Oregon? We gave them the 1 seed. They deserve the 1 seed, but the playoff seeding and the format. But stick in here. Your roster is so talented. So there really is no excuses why they don't win the national championship, because now you're going to sit there and look at, okay, I don't trust Texas. I don't trust Georgia with Gunnar Stockton. We saw Georgia's defense is really good. We saw what he did at the end of the game there. It's like textbook. It's like coaches sit there. It's like, okay, do we want to be conservative? Do we want to be aggressive?
Yeah.
Okay, Kirby Smart wants to go for the juggernaut against Texas. At the end of the game there, sits there. It's like 3rd and 13, comes in the shotgun, scrambles, flushed out of the pocket. He's a lefty, so he throws left, and he throws that duck lollipop interception. Okay, so he had 60 yards. However, do I trust Gunnar Stockton? Do I trust Dylan Gabriel? Do I trust Georgia, or do I trust Oregon with a proven quarterback, with a veteran quarterback? Do I trust Ohio State with Will Howard? No. I understand this 12 team format is some teams get a bye. The first four seeds get a bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so Arizona State, Oregon, Georgia, and Boise State get the bye. Okay, sure. The rest of the teams have to play and try to kill each other and take their heads off. So these other teams, do I trust them?
Mm-hmm.
Do I trust Tennessee? Do I trust Ohio State? Do I trust SMU? That's the thing here. I mean, Oregon, really, this is their national championship to lose, because when you sit there, I honestly, because the last time you won a national championship was never, right? Yeah, because the last national championship they went to
24.
was Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, FSU. Yes,
yeah,
right.
No, not FSU. Ohio State. Ohio State. We beat FSU in the Rose Bowl, and then we go to Ohio State when they lose a player, and they build that campaign that year, that season, for that player.
Was Ohio State's last national championship was 2016 though, with Urban Meyer and Ezekiel Elliott, not 2014?
No, 2016. 2016. I think you're correct.
2016. Yeah.
I double check that.
So it was 16. So then, yes, I'm pretty sure it was 16. So Oregon's never won a national championship.
Never.
I do remember
That's
that.
a joke. Yeah.
However, yes. So this is their year. I think if this is the year you went out and you got Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, he transferred. He was at UCF way before that.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically like a veteran QB. The Oregon loves these quarterbacks. Now you guys have Dante Moore next year, so it'll be interesting to see. I think Oregon does win the national championship. I really do. I'm a big SEC guy. I know, fingers crossed.
Knock on wood.
I'm a big SEC guy, and obviously Tennessee, Texas, and Georgia are the 3 SEC teams. But I do not have any stock in Georgia. If Carson Beck can't get healthy, because experience is going to matter in this playoff here. We saw it in the Texas-Georgia game. Beck was not as sharp as he hasn't been really sharp all year. He was good the past few games. He wasn't great. However, I don't trust Georgia with Gunnar Stockton. I trust their defense, but I don't trust Gunnar Stockton. I really don't. He looked solid, but in a playoff game, he's going to have some time. He's going to have some time to really be quarterback one, learn the offense, be the guy. Carson Beck's going to sit there, help him out and stuff. Unless Carson Beck's good, but after that, I saw that elbow injury when he suffered before halftime against Texas. I don't see it. So
the UCL
I got Oregon,
injury, as it was reported.
I see Oregon winning the national championship. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's my take. I got you guys winning. I got you guys winning the national championship.
Let's break down the bracket, or are we gonna do that later?
Yeah, we can break down the bracket.
Okay, let's just starting it off. Clemson and Texas. I think Clemson has a great defense. If you're looking at the SMU game, from what I can tell, just keeping up on the scoreboard, that first half they're playing very good defensive football. Obviously, the coaches and SMU made the adjustment. Second half was a lot closer game than it needed to be. Going against Texas, on the other hand, that's one of the best offenses in all college football this year. Quinn Ewers at the helm. I would argue Arch plays better ball with Texas, but that's just my opinion. I'm curious to see what a power offense versus one of the not the best defense. Obviously, we know that's Georgia right now, but one of the top defenses. I wonder what that looks like.
hmm Yeah. So if you could, yeah, no, I'm glad we're talking about this because I was thinking about, I was like, do I want to wait till next week? But let's get right into it
Okay.
now. So we have Texas, Clemson off the bat. If you could pull up the spreads for me, I know
Ooh.
Texas is favored -11. Yeah, we have gambling is legal down here in Florida with Hard Rock that we have down here. So we we take full advantage of that. I always have my buddies on these parlays and these bets. So you got Texas and Clemson. Texas is favored -11, so it'll be in Austin. I would love to see I would love to see Arch Manning have some sort of packages for Arch in the game because
Mm.
I know Dabble Sweeney has been around the block for a long time. If Texas was smart, they would throw Arch in some packages. You could have did it. You could have did it against Georgia this past weekend in the SEC championship. I know they did it one play. There was one where everyone thought they were going up the middle and they completely faked it outside with Arch and he got the first down. I don't think you really have anything to lose. You're favored in this game. You're at home. I think I don't know if I trust Clemson as much as I do Texas. Dabo's a great coach, but one thing too from the SMU and the Clemson game, Texas is a total different animal than SMU.
Yes.
You're going to have to put points up on them. Georgia's a different animal, so we can push them away. They beat Texas. But sticking back here on this Clemson-Texas game, Texas is a total different animal than yes, Texas is a total different animal than SMU is. Yeah,
the spread
go ahead.
is -11, and the total is over and under 51.
Yeah, so I don't like over-unders in college football, and let alone the NFL. But if I'm going here if I'm going to bet Texas and Clemson, 11 points is a lot. I know Vegas is going to be right there. These playoff games, you don't know because these teams haven't seen in each other. Either Texas wins that game by 14 or Clemson covers because Texas could blow the doors off of them because it's about if Clemson's offense can keep up with Texas.
Texas
And also
defense,
too, Clemson's offense can keep up with Texas offense. Can we go points for points? Can we match you? Because we know how good Texas is as a team. Like you said, they're one of the most talented teams in college football. They ran into a juggernaut, Georgia. Everyone's been giving them shit all year. They lost 2 games. They lost to Alabama and they lost to Ole Miss. SEC any given Saturday. Sticking back on this Clemson-Texas game. Do I trust Steve Sarkisian or do I trust Dabble Sweeney? But in this spot here, it's Texas's roster compared to Clemson.
It'll be a depth
Steve Sarkisian in Texas, that defense is going to be able to, if they can put pressure on Cade Klubnik, it's going to be a long day
for
Cade Klubnik in Texas. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Texas is going to get back Kelvin Banks, who's also supposed to be like a top 5. He's supposed to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
He's one of the best linemen in the draft next to Will Campbell. So they're going to get him back as well. They'll have some. Yep. So the pressure will be alleviated off of Quinn Ewers there. But I would love to see Arch in some packages. So I got Texas winning that game, but I'm going to take the underdog here. I'm going to take Clemson to cover.
Okay.
What's our next game here?
Next game, Tennessee, Ohio State. Ohio State opens up -7.5,
right?
7.5. Over under 47.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a good game as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Day versus Josh Heupel. Tennessee. Do I trust Tennessee? They went on the road to Georgia, but I don't trust Ohio State. But does the talent? But the thing here with this game too, Tennessee's a good team.
Good team.
Ohio State's a good team, but Ohio State has the talent to win the national championship. They have the star power. They have the talent to win the national championship. You can go player by. It's almost like they have guys on there that could be in the NFL right now.
Judkins
they went out. Judkins, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Denzel Burke. Sawyer. They have guys.
Yeah.
Jack Sawyer. They have the defensive end there as well. I can never pronounce his name.
Tumalolo. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
They have him as well. So the talent level there is for Ohio State. There is no business why Ohio State loses this game. Tennessee's a very young, inexperienced team. I love Dylan Sampson. Yeah. He's a great running back. He's going to get drafted this upcoming NFL draft. But do I trust Nico in this spot as a freshman, technically like we're giving him as a rookie QB? This is a huge test for him. But he's already faced Georgia, and Georgia I think is better than Ohio State. Yes. So it's a tough one. I got to take Tennessee as well, plus 7.5. I don't know if they'll win the game outright.
Okay, but you're going to take this covering.
But I'm going to take plus 7.5 Tennessee because that I've seen Tennessee go into Georgia. They did lose, and Georgia did cover the spread, but Georgia's a better team than Ohio State.
Defensively.
And I don't trust defensively, and I don't trust Will Howard, Ethan. I don't trust Will Howard. I really don't.
Some people don't trust Will Howard. I don't trust Ryan Day to get the team ready, to get them prepared. I think that's always been his downfall. He's a James Franklin, but shinier version, some would say.
Yep.
I love Tennessee's quarterback, Nico. He was an Oregon recruit. We
Mm-hmm.
missed out on him. I think that the run game with Sampson is going to help Tennessee's
Mm-hmm.
defense as a head coach. He's a defensive guy. I think
Yep.
their edge rusher, I forgot his name. It might be Jesse. I forgot. But he's projected a top 10 DN. Coming into the year, he was projected to be the first overall pick.
Is it Pierce?
Yeah, Pierce. My bad. Yeah, Pierce.
Yes. Is it James Pierce?
James Pierce.
Yeah, James Pierce Jr.
Yeah.
That's who it is. No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, James Pierce Jr. He's the Tennessee guy. Yeah, he's an absolute stud.
He is the game changer. If he can take advantage of Ohio State's injured line, expect Will Howard to be making more mistakes than any other game. I'm hoping Tennessee wins.
Yep,
I'm hoping Tennessee wins.
I know that this year is a really weird year. It's a 12-team format. It's not like it has been in the past with the 4 teams: Washington, Texas, Alabama, Washington, Texas, Alabama, Michigan last year. Those 4 teams. This year it's totally different. It's a 12 teams. So really it's anybody's guess. We don't really, other than Oregon, I haven't seen a powerhouse. I love Georgia. Alabama didn't make it. Tennessee, I'm a Gator fan. They only beat us by a touchdown in overtime, and we had Lagway came in late. I think if Lagway probably played that game from the get-go, we might have won that game. Graham Mertz tore his ACL that game. But sticking here on Ohio State and in Tennessee, in a spot like this, I am never going to bet against an SEC team. Now, I know Tennessee is not Alabama. They're not Georgia as a whole team. However, Tennessee beat Alabama. They did play Georgia in a pretty close game. I trust Tennessee on the road. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think they cover the plus 7.5. What's our next one?
Next one, Indiana and Notre Dame. Also, minus 7.5.
This is the battle of the Midwest here. What do we got? Yeah. What's our spread?
Minus 7.5. Total 50.5.
Another 7.5. Curt Cignetti's been a great coach all year. He's arguably the best coach in college football. Coach of the year, leading Indiana to the playoffs here. Marcus Freeman, Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti has the experience. Notre Dame is a better team overall. Can Riley Leonard lead his team into victory? A huge game in South Bend. Indiana, Notre Dame, really close to one another. Notre Dame, the only team they lost to was Northern Illinois earlier in the year. Notre Dame doesn't really play anybody. Can we trust Notre Dame? This is a big spot for Notre Dame. Minus 7.5 at home. Indiana got rolled by Ohio State. I don't know what to make of Indiana. I really don't. But we don't know what to make of Notre Dame. I've got to take Notre Dame minus 7.5. If I can bump it down to minus 7, I will take Notre Dame minus 7. If I can bump it down a half a point, depends on what Vegas does throughout this week and next week. If we can get that spread to 7, I'm in on 7. I'm not there on 7.5 yet. If Vegas can bump it down to 7, but it's going to be a good game. So if I'm going to take a spread, if I can get it bumped down, I'll take it to 7.
I love Notre Dame's roster. Talent-wise, it's way better than Indiana. But I think Coach Sig, I'm hoping he proves me wrong, because that Ohio State game was a little suspicious. He doesn't have any big flashy wins, but I'm going Indiana, riding the hype train. The little wagon that could. They should cover the spread.
Wow, you're taking Indiana to win or cover the spread?
Win and covering the spread.
Wow, you're taking Indiana outright. So you think Notre Dame gets upset again, and the question remains, can Marcus Freeman get this team to where they need to get to? The question remains, does Marcus Freeman take the job with the Chicago Bears? Does Marcus Freeman take that jump to the NFL?
Let's that down right now. I'm also worried about Riley Leonard. As we know from Notre Dame, they are not going into the transfer portal again for a quarterback. It's gone 0 for 2. I think that he will eventually get benched if the game gets out of hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Like I said, I don't know what to make of Indiana. That's the problem with Indiana. I don't know what to think of Indiana. They got rolled by Ohio State.
I'm a huge fan of Coach Sig. Just a huge fan.
Yeah, no. He was at James Madison before he was at Indiana, right?
Yeah, I'm positive sure it's James Madison. Starts with J.
So okay. So we got okay. So that's that one. What's our next one?
Last but not least, SMU Penn State all whiteout game.
Oh, James Franklin versus SMU's coach's name again. What is it? Lachey?
SMU coach.
It's
Lachey.
Yeah, Lachey. Okay. Brett Lachey versus James Franklin. Drew Aller looked really good against Oregon. I mean, you got to give it to him.
I give him
mean,
props.
he was really impressive. And
He
I
shocked
love
me.
Singleton. I love Singleton, the running back out of Penn State. He's very, very explosive. Penn State's a good team. They should win this game. But SMU's got a really good offense. They're very high flying.
Very good
They
offense.
took Clemson to the nose there. They were down 31-14 against Clemson.
Came back.
What's my spread? What's my spread?
Spread is -9. Total is 54.
Penn State is -9. I mean, the way Penn State played against Oregon, the way SMU played against Clemson, either it's the playoffs. You know, these two teams have never seen each other. Excuse me. SMU, give them props to getting here. I would have loved to see Alabama in this spot. We're going to talk about SMU and Alabama. Good for them. You know, however, this game here, -9 Penn State. You know, Death Valley is one of the hardest places to win in college football. All white. It's going to be absolutely rocking. I think the stage is going to be too bright for SMU. I think especially the way Penn State played against Oregon this past weekend in the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis, where the Colts play. I have to take Penn State -9. I think they could win. They should win this game by 10. I understand Penn State's got a good offense, but I don't think they're ready for the test against Penn State. And you can match it up and you go, well, who has SMU played all year? The real true test was Clemson this past weekend. They only beat one ranked team in Pittsburgh. I think the stage is going to be too bright for them. And Penn State has a huge advantage with the whiteout Death Valley, all white, one of the hardest places to play in college football. Give me Penn State in this spot, -9. Give me Penn State. Drew Aller leading them to victory, showing why he has been I don't know if I can say one of the best, but there really hasn't been a ton of Big Ten QBs this year other than Dylan Gabriel. Will Howard hasn't really done anything. So give me Drew Aller and Penn State in this spot to take them to victory and move on to the next round.
I think I have SMU +9 covering, not winning. I'm hoping James Franklin proves me wrong and actually can coach a good game because, man, Tyler Warren needs some more plays. He needs some more design plays. That man almost took over. We'll head into that later. But, yeah, those are just my thoughts right now.
So that's it for the first round.
That's it for the first round.
Yep, and then Boise State, Georgia, Oregon, and
ASU.
Arizona State, Arizona State get the buys. Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm excited for this. It's next weekend, and my Gators are playing Tulane in the bowl game next Friday in Tampa, Florida. Kind of bummed out about it that it's a 3:30 game, but I've been talking to some friends. I'm like, it's a bowl game. It doesn't mean anything. We win, lose. It doesn't matter. We've already had some guys enter the transfer portal. Tulane starting quarterback enter the transfer portal on Sunday. So it doesn't matter. So it's like those bowl games are meaningless other than like Deion Sanders with the Alamo Bowl against BYU said, our guys are playing. Nobody's tapping out. Then you got the Pop-Tarts Bowl with Miami. Miami's playing who in the Pop-Tarts Bowl again? It's who's Miami playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
South Carolina. Is this South Carolina?
No, it's Iowa State.
Iowa State. Yeah, the Cyclones.
Iowa State. Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
So,
also.
anyways,
Big 12.
Yeah. So these bowl games here, it's like other than the playoff, does it really matter? But this is a good one here. We'll break away from the 12-team format. What do you think of this? The college football director said they could potentially be expanding to a 14-team playoff next year for the 2026 season. What do you think of that?
I'm not a huge fan. I think already 12 is a good number. At first, they should try and perfect it. I think there's some errors with who gets in, check the schedule, seating, auto bids you could go into. 14 at that point would just be a business decision. They're just trying to make more money. I respect it. I understand. College football, huge market, NIL, all of the above. I'm hoping this does not turn into a March Madness bracket type deal. Because football and basketball are two different things. You cannot be playing that that much.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And moving away from that, well, actually sticking here on that for a second, the 14-team playoff, I think 12 is enough. We've some of these teams, I don't even know if they really deserve to be in this spot. They won, they didn't win their conference. We're going to get into the SMU Alabama stuff, but it's like 12 is enough. Like, okay, enough is enough. Like, you're greedy enough. You're making money off all these college football players all these years. NIL. Now you have quarterbacks being paid. They're coming back and they're saying agreeing to deals. It's like, we don't need any more teams. 12 is enough. Heck, they could even, 12 is enough. We had 4 last year. kudos, because some of those teams that lost, like if Ohio State last year, if they would have lost to Michigan in that conference championship, or Michigan rivalry game, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Mhm.
It's like, so you've got to be lucky and appreciative that you even have a 12 team. 14 teams is way too much. Let's pump the brakes here. I know they're all about money now. They're trying to compete with the NFL. But this part here, I've been waiting to talk about this since Sunday. I made my prediction. I thought they were going to get in. I eat my crow. I was wrong. Alabama should have made the college football playoff over SMU. I understand SMU, played against Clemson, and the only reason why they got, probably really the only reason why they got in, was because they made it close game. They were down 31-14. But if, I know it should have, would have, could at this point, if they didn't come back and there was not a close game, I think they would have put Alabama in. Now, we can bring this up here with Alabama. The receipts are here. Like Chip Kelly says, I'm going to bring the receipts for the national championship against Oklahoma next year. So we're going to bring up receipts. Alabama beat Georgia. They lost to Tennessee. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Oklahoma. Okay, fine. And they beat other teams as well. The Vanderbilt and the Oklahoma losses are inexcusable. However, it is the SEC. So I guess beating Georgia doesn't hold any weight. But two, also at the same time, Alabama, they only have themselves to blame. All they had to do was win one more game. But it's so annoying. It's so tough because at some point we have to figure out strength of schedule. Compare SMU's schedule compared to Alabama's. I understand Alabama lost 3 games. I totally understand that. SMU had a great year, their first year in the ACC. But who did who did SMU play? Who did they really play? Duke. Okay. Yeah. And then they beat Pittsburgh when they were ranked at one point, and they finished the season 7-5. How I see it is, to get into the playoffs, right? This is a hypothetical. It's never going to happen.
Never.
This is my scenario. Alabama and SMU should play off to get into the playoffs.
Like
the college football playoff.
Like the NBA playoffs where they have a
right,
play-in.
Like the play-in. Right, we should have a play-in. If we're so about expanding this playoff format, let's do a play-in. If we really want to make it a 14-team playoff, let's do a play-in, just like the NBA does. That's how they do it now. Just like how in baseball they do it as well for the wild card, or just like how they do at the end of the season. Like if the 2 teams have the same record, let's do that, right? But does strength of schedule really matter that much? If we're not taking in strength of schedule, we're taking in the fact that, they had 2 losses and you had 3. Now, I know that I said this a few weeks ago, and I stood by it until I saw how it all transpired. The committee was never going to put in a 3-loss team in the playoff. They didn't put a 2-team loss in last year because Alabama and Texas, if you put in Texas, you got to put in Alabama.
Yes.
Because it was a whole FSU thing. FSU went undefeated, Power 5 conference.
Strength of schedule too.
Strength of schedule. Right. So, but the thing is, like, deserving, right? And it sucks because the committee was not going to do SMU wrong. There's too much money riding on this. They figured what they did against Clemson granted them to it. And I read it. I was at the movie theaters watching Wicked, and I'm like, I already know what the committee's going to say. They're going to say that the reason why they're granted in is because they came close to in the ACC championship game against Clemson. That was one of the main reasons why that happened. Mm-hmm. No discredit to SMU. They had a great season. But at some point, we're going to have to figure out strength of schedule. And even Nick Saban said it. He said, I think one of the things I've mentioned throughout the season is if we don't take strength of schedule into consideration, is there any benefit to scheduling really good teams in the future? So for the future, right, Ohio State should play Alabama. Oregon should play Alabama. Oregon should play Georgia. Ohio State should play that team, because we say the SEC is the best conference in college football. If we're all about making it strength of schedule, then let's all just make it this big powerhouse strength of schedule, right? Let's get rid of the teams like, right? Let's get rid of Ethan. Let's get rid of Florida versus FAMU. Let's get rid of USF versus Bama, because those games don't matter.
Oh, well,
so let's play, right?
Let's break it down though. The SEC, as talented as it is, as hard, I believe, is the toughest conference in all of college football. They made that their own issue. They added Oklahoma that they lost to, right? They added Texas.
Yep.
Those are 2 big powerhouses at the time when they were bringing in. That's you loaded up your conference. I'm not mad at it. I understand you're trying to make your conference the best. You have to add competition. That said, SMU should not be punished for that. I believe if we're trying to expand football, right, we should not just be looking at the Big Ten and SEC. Those are the 2 best conferences. We have to give respect to a Boise State. We have to give respect to an ASU. Those schools getting a chance is how we build college football. Respectfully, every year as much as it was bad for football, TCU versus Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
we had
Yeah, it was
a
bad.
bigger TCU fan base get into football because their team was
Yep.
doing well. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I believe the committee wants. SMU over Bama, I understand. Bama lost 3 times. It was in their control, though, right? They
Yep.
can't explain losing to Oklahoma, who had no wide receivers for the most part, 3-24. If you're that talented
24 to
as an
3.
SEC team,
Yep.
you should be winning. There's
Yep.
no doubt. You
Absolutely.
have Ryan Williams. You have a
Mm-hmm.
top first round draft pick at QB. You have
Yep.
Caden Proctor back from Iowa that transferred and transferred back.
Back. Yep.
Explain to me how you lose 3 games. It's in your control,
Yep.
right? That
Absolutely.
said, I understand going forward if people want to play less big out of state games. In my opinion, it's good for college football because you never see teams play unless they make it to the playoffs. What if they make it
Mm-hmm.
to the playoffs and we get to face a Bama? We get to face an Ohio State. I was at Oregon during COVID year. We were supposed to face Ohio State here, didn't get to do that. Had to go there, watch us get that upset, right? Were
Yep.
we expected to win? Heck no. No one had faith
Nope.
in the Ducks. But
Nope.
you give a small school a big shot, nothing to lose against one of the Goliaths of football. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be artwork for the fans of football, and that's a big reason why I'm not upset. Well, that's also because I'm not a Bama fan, but I can understand their frustrations. You're right. Strength of schedule should matter, but if you're trying to build college football, this is actually a pretty solid way of doing it.
No, you make an absolute great point there, and that's the thing too. Like you said, the SEC. But at some point, we have to figure out what we're doing with college football. Are we going
Yes.
to continue to schedule these tough teams? Or are we going to play lollipop teams and go, well, you went 10-2, you're going to get in the playoffs. Well, you went 11-1, you got to your conference championship, you didn't get in. But I think, like, the committee, they made sure this year we're not punishing a 10-2 team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to punish Alabama, who lost 3 games. It's inexcusable. You shouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt. You shouldn't have lost to Oklahoma. The Tennessee loss, totally understand that.
Understand.
So
Juggernaut.
that's understandable. But the other two are not. So I totally understand it. Alabama has only themselves to blame. But, that's the thing, too. But, this could completely come back to bite the committee. If SMU goes to play Penn State and they get absolutely rolled, I don't
Demolish.
want to hear it from SMU fans. If
Yeah.
they get demolished, if it goes way past -9 and SMU gets rolled, I don't want to hear it.
You're like
Because
TCU all over again.
that TCU all over again. The
Yeah.
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, they shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have put them there. Alabama should be in this year. It's
Yeah.
the SEC. It's the best conference of college football. That you're sitting on the outside. You lost 3 games. You don't. That's the thing too. So I'm excited to see how this college football playoff will play out. But breaking away from the playoff here, I don't know if you've seen the news recently, but supposedly Bill Belichick could be going to be coaching North Carolina.
I would be so in love with this because in my head, we just lost Bama pipeline. 07 to 23, we lost that pipeline. You're telling me Bill Belichick wants to go be a Tar Heel, start a program 2025 to however long he wants to coach. Probably realistically, I give him 4 years there and then his son takes over. But still,
Yeah, same.
that would be spectacular. A Bill Belichick pipeline. Do you know how many athletes, recruits want to just go be coached by an NFL legend, Hall of Famer, Gold Jacket, Mount Rushmore coach? Why would you not do that?
I have mixed feelings about it because one, I don't know if I really am all in on it. I love what you just said about it, but the only thing that concerns me with Bill Belichick is, does he relate to these college players?
No.
Is Bill Belichick going to be understanding NIL? Now, he's not a stupid guy. Not going to sit here and say that.
No.
He's coached he's brought some of the guys into light. Brady, all these, you can name all the defenses players he coached. Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Darrelle Revis, the Patriots that one year, Asante Samuel, Rodney Harrison.
Yeah.
Yes, Stephon Gilmore. Belichick is a defensive guru. But is he going to sit there week in and week out in college football and go, man, we got to go play Virginia Tech this week. That's really going to be a fun game. Like, when he's not in the, because that's not, I mean, Bill's a football guy. He's been around football for longer than you and I have both been alive.
Yeah.
But like you said, the pipeline is great. But the thing here is it's a leverage play, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's either he's leveraging this to get back to the NFL, or like you said, the son will take over. I don't know if I'm sold on Bill Belichick coaching North Carolina. You just fired Mac Brown. You're going to go hire another older coach. I wouldn't say it's going to be a flop because we haven't seen anything finalized yet, but I think that the North Carolina should go younger. I don't think it makes any sense. I understand what Steve Belichick just did with Washington. He brought their defense back to where it was. You were in that division
Yeah.
in the Pac-12, and now Washington's in the Big Ten. But I don't think it makes sense to bring Bill Belichick in. I think it would be a leverage ploy for his son to be the coach. I think that's what they're negotiating. But I think it would make the most sense if you go out and get a home run guy, because North Carolina is a big program. They have a lot of money in NIL. They are a big ACC school. They're huge in basketball. They have never been huge. They have never been really that good for football. I mean, they've had some, Drake May, of course, New England last year. Trubisky never really panned out. They've had some guys, but I think you go get a guy that's been in college football, that's a home run guy. Maybe, pay somebody a lot of money that's been in college football, or maybe try to get Ben Johnson if you can.
Ooh, okay. I think if we're
because they would
looking at it,
I think they would throw the book at him. Go ahead.
college football now, also like Chip Kelly, like the DC on the Packers, recruiting is not even fun anymore with the NIL. So
No,
I'm
it's not.
really
Right.
not getting my hopes up about this Bill Belichick pipeline, because
I'm
there's
not
no
either.
way in heck you're telling me Bill Belichick, one of the best football coaches, NFL football coaches, wants to go face Virginia Tech, or let's just say Merced, no disrespect to them.
Right.
Like, what is he prepping for? Let's be honest. What is he
Right.
prepping for? Is he going to try and put 100
Right.
on you? Is that the goal every week? And also with that,
Right.
he doesn't have time to care about your money right now. You're trying to make it to the league. That's what he's pushing
Right.
for. He's not going to be
Yes.
into this NIL deal, and eventually
No.
that's what's going to stop him from going.
Nope.
He should be
And
an
I
NFL
hope.
head
I
coach, by
hope.
the way.
Yeah. He should. I hope it does come out, because then we can throw these clips out there and people can go crazy in the comment section. So I hope North Carolina does hire Bill
Oh,
Belichick, so that we can get people talking.
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen right now. It might happen in a couple days, a week. He's doing great. He's riding the coattails with the media stuff right now, but I don't think it would make sense to hire Bill Belichick to North Carolina. Go get yourself a younger guy. He just let the NIL. Does Bill Belichick want to take that stress on, or
No.
are they just going to have him like in a GM type role and the son takes over? Like I said, I think it's a leverage ploy, but I don't think it makes any sense for Bill Belichick to go to North Carolina. I really don't. So that's where I stand on it. It'd be interesting it'd be interesting to see if he does take it. But let's move on to the NFL. We finally got here, right? There was so much that went on in the NFL this past weekend. Josh Allen had an amazing game against the Los Angeles Rams. The blocked punt, they lost. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Are you a Ram? No, you're an Eagles guy.
Eagles fan.
The Eagles and the Panthers game, Eagles winning 22-16.
Horrible.
But the storyline of the NFL this past week, you're an Eagles guy.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown? I don't understand this. I'm trying to process this. I'm like, you guys have won 9 straight games. What are you guys yapping about at each other for? It's like a boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like you're in a relationship. It's like, oh, we're really not happy. We're just like, oh, I don't know. We're doing really well. We've done great the past 6 months, but all of a sudden we wake up tomorrow and we go, I don't really like you anymore. I think I'm going to go back on the market. What's going on here?
I don't think it's as big of a deal as it's being blown up to be from the media. As an Eagles fan, if you watch that game, there's nothing
Yeah.
that you loved about that passing game. I know Eagles fans have yapped the whole season until last year. We have one of the best offensive lines. Why are we not running the ball? We have Saquon now. We're rushing crazy, right? That said, for this offense to actually be opened up and be maximizing its full talent, we have to utilize that passing game. And if you watch this game, as I did, there's a lot of missed throws, or I don't even want to say missed throws, but they're not on the same page. And a big part of that, as an Eagles fan, from my understanding, or at least like my guess, Dallas Goedert is out most of the time. He's missing 2 or 3 games this season. I think right now he's on the IR. We had Devontae Smith, who was also out, ankle injury, if I'm correct. We had AJ Brown out for the first, besides that first game, probably the next 4 due to a hamstring. We haven't been on sync at all. Jahan Dotson just got there, but like a week before the season started. Our passing game should be way better with the big names that we have, and right now, it's not. I'm not upset we're winning. This was a trap game. I'm glad. I'm very grateful that Leggett dropped that ball, but I think it's being blown out of proportion. We have to remember that Jalen is the godfather, I'm positively sure, of AJ Brown's daughter. This is not just like a relationship thing. This is just on the field. AJ knows Jalen can take that next level, but we have to stop playing scared of making the turnover. There's a difference between scared, and you're just bad. Like
Yeah.
you're just playing bad football. He's playing scared football, like safe and scared. That's the right terminology to use. He's playing safe football. That's cool. That's
Hmm.
what it looks like. It's really scared football because there's some of these balls that he should be throwing. Our wide receivers are wide open. They're creating space. There's one play where AJ Brown, Devontae both line up on the left side. Both take a 5-yard
Hmm.
slant. There's space. It's an NFL opening, right?
Yep.
Jalen Hurts has like 5 seconds in the pocket. That's above average. Ask Joe Burrow. He'd rather have our O line than his, right?
Yeah.
AJ or Jalen Hurts goes left. It's a run and a throwaway. That should not have been played. You looked at both the wide receivers. They're both open. Make that throw. You are paid to make that throw.
Do you think it's because with the Eagles, do you think this is happening because they're so Saquon dependent? Like they're
Mm-hmm.
so reliant on Saquon? Like that's why I think I'm like, and Jalen in the back, maybe the back of Jalen Hurts' mind, he's like, it's Saquon, Saquon, Saquon. He's been so successful for us. We've had that offensive line. It's been great all year. And then we sit there and I go, well, if I throw AJ the ball and I might miss him, or we're not on the same page, where I could just pitch it to Saquon, or Saquon could just run a counter.
Uh,
I don't understand this hurt, and I don't know why Brandon Graham came out and said that. I know one is trying, and 11 could be better with how he responds to things. They were friends, but things have changed. Why are we saying this right now?
it's a
I
bad
know
look.
Brandon Graham got hurt, but
Yeah.
it's not a good look, especially the Eagles. With the people were calling for Sirianni's head earlier in the year, even last year going back. It's like this kind of drama does not need to happen, especially after a game like this where you were really close. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't know why you would say this, especially Brandon Graham. I know he's hurt right now,
He's hurt.
but
He tried
it
to
makes
retake
no
the words.
sense.
He tried to go back on his words. Unfortunately, cat's already out the bag,
Yep.
right? If we're looking at
Yep.
it too, just look at last game, the Bucks versus the Panthers. You're
Yep.
telling me Mike Evans, off an injury, came and had 8 receptions for 180 something, if I'm correct. His longest was
Yep.
27 yards, and AJ Brown couldn't get that. AJ Brown was open on 2. I think one was a fade, and the other was just a go route, and he couldn't get the ball 1v1, safety one high, all the way on the other
Yep.
side. You're supposed to give your wide receiver ones that look. And I'm not saying AJ Brown is not happy that we're winning. Maybe he wants to be more involved, but we have the talent. There should be no
Right.
reason why AJ Brown or Devontae Smith have less than 60 yards every game. It's
Well, and
inexcusable.
that's no, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing too. Because going back to the Ravens game a few weeks ago when the Eagles won and they came back and they beat the Ravens, AJ was the focal point of the offense. I know Devontae Smith was out, but it's like I'm not processing this here. I know the media is blowing it out of proportion,
Mm,
but if your teammate Brandon Graham is saying that I know things have changed, and then AJ Brown after the game is saying there's issue with the passing attack, then maybe there is something here that we're missing. I mean, even the family members I don't talk to, my family member of mine doesn't talk to me anymore because we vote differently
mm,
in the election. So it's like maybe there's something more, maybe something
maybe.
happened, but we don't know. But when you sit there and you go, whoa, this is kind of alarming because you guys have won 9 games. Whoa, you guys are Super Bowl contenders. Whoa, you guys could potentially go to the Super Bowl. Or whoa, you could arguably say you're the best team in the NFL if you want to go that route.
Let
You have the talent, you have everything. So it's like, what the is going on here?
let's pump the brakes. I think that
Yeah.
for Eagle fans, and at least like Nick
Hmm.
Sirianni said, okay, let's start it off with Nick Sirianni. Today he voiced we should be getting him the ball.
Hmm.
Kellen Moore also voiced we are going to get more plays to get AJ going.
Hmm.
There's no reason, heck, that AJ Brown should be getting his first reception in the second quarter. There's
Hmm.
no rhythm for a wide receiver to start his game like that. That said, if we're looking at the Eagles, their 9-game win streak. Eagle fans, especially me, diehards that have been
Yep.
watching the Eagles for so long,
Yep.
our goal isn't the playoffs. Our goal isn't to be the first seed, or isn't just to be the first seed. Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. The best way right
Absolutely.
now, and we're just looking at it, the Lions are the team to beat, right? The Lions
Yep.
get all their playmakers involved. The Eagles need to start doing that if we want to be taken seriously. We can't.
Is it a Kellen Moore problem? Is it a Jalen Hurts problem? Like, could something really be transpiring here where we're talking about this and it could be a Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen situation again?
I hope not. I hope not. I do not want to go back to the days where I was rooting for Jalen Rager to be my wide receiver one. I can't do it.
Devontae
It's
Smith.
not good for my mental health. I'm glad I have Devontae Smith, skinny Batman, wide
You wa-
receiver one, next to AJ
you went
Brown.
out you went out and you got AJ Brown from Tennessee. You
Yes.
made sure you got him. You paid him all this money. So why you
Extended him
guys even
again.
think extended him again. You
Yeah.
need to figure this out. You sit these two in a room and go, what are you doing here? Why are we acting like children? What's going on here? Really, figure this out because we got games to play. We got a whole rest of the season to go. We are one of the best teams in the NFL,
And
so they need to figure it out.
And if we're looking at it too, looking at our schedule, our next biggest game is against the Steelers this Sunday. By the way, go Birds.
Yes.
Yep. This is the perfect time to showcase their chemistry against a real legitimate defense. After this, we have the Commanders, the Cowboys, I'm positive sure the Giants again. And
Giants, yep.
One more
team.
That's it,
right? Is that it?
No, I think that's it, yeah. So after that, hey, it's probably going to be smooth sailing, running the ball, but I need to see this pass game against a legitimate defense, please.
So you have the Eagles, the Commanders, you have the Steelers, the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. Yeah. So realistically, the Eagles they're 10-2, right? So they should realistically finish 14-3, 13 and somewhere in that ballpark there. There's no reason why they're playing for the 1 seed as well against the Lions. So this is a big game this week.
Go Bills Mafia.
Battle of Philadelphia this weekend.
Pennsylvania.
This is a big one.
Battle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Jesus, Pennsylvania. There it is. Pennsylvania. Battle of Pennsylvania this weekend. That'll be a big one. But we gotta move on to this one here. Kirk Cousins will remain the Falcons starting quarterback moving forward per head coach Raheem Morris. Kirk Cousins' last 4 weeks, he's had 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions to 0-4 record. Is it time for Michael Penix? No, it is not time for Michael Penix. You went out and you got Kirk Cousins. You made your bed, now you lie in it. You finished the season, and then you reevaluate in the offseason. The division is still in play as well. This division has not really been anything to write home about. The Bucs are 6-6 now, or are they 7? Yeah, they're 6-6 now. You have the Saints as well. They're not going to win the division. So the Panthers are out as well. So you're down to the Falcons and the Bucs. You can still win this division.
Yes.
And Kirk Cousins is we know he's up and down, but it's not a time to start Michael Penix. It's like, no, should we bring him in for certain packages? No. Stick with Kirk Cousins, finish out the season.
The thing is, organizations fail quarterbacks. Like Kevin O'Connell said from the Vikings, organizations fail their quarterback before the quarterback fails them. If you throw Michael Penix in just to be the savior when he's not ready, I think that'd be a great mistake. I was wrong about Drake May. He deserved to play. After Jacoby Brissett, after his horrible games, after the parlays that he's blown, he should have been starting day one. That said,
love me some Drake May.
That said, Michael Penix, the difference between him and Drake May, there's a quarterback in front of him that is starting caliber. Keep riding with it. If you don't believe in it after the season, you can say you tried, you gave it your all, but you paid him so much money.
Totally different.
There's no reason in the heck you're not going to let him show you that he's worth that money. If he takes you to the playoffs,
you're 100% right.
He's about to get a round of applause from Atlanta. He took over the trap. Like, what do you want him to say?
Kirk Cousins actually has the most passing yards in Falcons history in a game against the Bucs on Thursday Night Football. So yes, he's been bad these past few weeks. Yes. However, to sit there and say we need to bench him and put in Michael Penix is an overreaction by a mile
all the time,
because you have the rest. You still have 4 games to go. And you can still win the division. It's up in the air. It's up for grabs. If you win this division, you get a home playoff game.
And let's be honest. Let's not blame this all on Kirk Cousins. I know looking at his stats, he's 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 0-4, right? A big part of that is that defense, too. There's no reason, heck, that defense should be allowing that many points, not generating that much pressure. Hey, you went to go trade for Matthew Judon. I haven't heard of him. I haven't seen the red sleeves in a minute.
I have not seen Matthew Judon in a long time. It's that it's the Patriots effect, man. Do you remember Trey Flowers from the when he was in the Patriots and the Lions paid him all that money? He did 0.
Yeah.
It's now not every player leaves the Patriots and they become bad.
Chandler Jones.
Patriots way. Yeah. Chandler Jones is another one. It's like some of these guys, man, they leave and the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's just the nature of it. But let's move on here to this one. Josh Allen against the Rams. I know they lost. He was the first quarterback in NFL history with 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns in a single game. I think Josh Allen's the MVP of the NFL. I really do. I love Lamar. No, you think Saquon Barkley?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm biased. I'm biased.
I'm biased. You think it's Saquon?
I have to say it's Saquon. He's legit taking our team to another level. That said, Josh Allen's supporting cast. Who
has more of an impact, Josh Allen or Saquon Barkley? Take away Saquon Barkley from the Eagles. The Eagles are maybe not as good, but they're still probably positive record. You take away Josh Allen from the Bills.
Let's keep it full transparency. I love Saquon. Okay, let's say we take him away. This year, the injuries still happen. You're telling me we beat the Saints without Saquon? No, we don't beat the Saints without Saquon. We do lose against the Falcons. That catch, he did miss a catch.
Put
You know?
put DeAndre Swift back in for the
No.
Eagles this year.
Okay, that's if though. That's like if like Lamar was on
Right.
the Bills too, right? He'd be feasting.
Well, no, I'm just saying like a solid running back.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
Saquon's a generational. So I'm
generational
saying
talent.
like behind that offensive line,
Anything can happen. Yes,
right?
Josh
So
Allen does deserve it. He has less of a
yeah,
supporting cast. They trade for Amari Cooper. He's been injured in and out the lineup. Keon
I thought it
Cole.
was going to be a
Yeah,
yep, Keon Cole. I thought it was gonna be a good pickup for Amari Cooper, but he just hasn't been able
hasn't
to hit
adjusted.
that stride. He's had a few
Shakir though.
injuries. I haven't fully seen
Khalil
Shakir. He is an
Shakir.
absolute receptions
Fantasy
machine
god,
this
20
year.
points. Shout
He's
out
been
him.
he's been an receptions machine on just on sports gambling. He has been an absolute juggernaut. However, though, Josh Allen's game was spectacular against the Rams.
It was.
I mean,
Unfortunately, they lost.
342 passing. They lost. The Rams are a good
Whoa,
team, man.
whoa.
They're a team you don't want to play.
I
They are a team
saw-
you don't want to play.
I saw on ESPN, I think First Take,
Mhm.
they said, "Oh, like, yeah, this Rams team went healthy. You know, that's why they won." Mind you, the Eagles
Total
faced the
different team.
Rams 2 weeks ago,
And
healthy.
they blew them out.
Exactly. So that shouldn't be the reason. I'm obviously advocating for Saquon. I'm biased. I know. I love Josh Allen.
Yep.
Credit to him. I think this is a spectacular. He's a second player to have 3 for 3, if I recall.
Yes.
Because I think someone did it way back then when, you know.
No, he's the first player in NFL history with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in a single game.
No, I swear I saw a stat. Am I wrong?
I looked it up.
You did?
It up. Who is the only? Yeah, who is the only? Let's see. Who is the only player in NFL?
I swear I found something.
3 passes.
If I find out, send it to you.
Let's see, rushing touchdown. I think it's going to say Josh Allen.
Is it? Okay, well, hey, props to Josh Allen. You had a great game.
Allen became the first ever player with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in a regular season game.
Oh, regular season. See, it's like the wording.
Regular. Yep. Regular season. Yeah. So that's still remarkable. That's insane.
Wait, someone predicted it. They saw that he was wearing the Kobe Grinch cleats, and they said,
"Oh, geez."
Yeah, they said 6 touchdowns
in LA too.
That's crazy.
For Kobe, Kobe's looking down, man.
Down.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Let's move on to this one though. This is a good one.
Okay.
This debate always happens when these two receivers play their tails off.
Mm-hmm.
They both went to LSU. Who's the better receiver, Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson? The conversation has to be had.
Let me hear your thoughts first.
Both of these receivers, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, played at LSU. They were both spectacular there. Jamar Chase was, a home run pick. So was Justin Jefferson. You could say Justin Jefferson has Sam Darnold. He's had a lot of different QBs, or he had Kirk Cousins. Now he has Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase. They have that connection since LSU. Overall, who's a better receiver? It's very close, but I think Jamar Chase is better than Justin Jefferson. I think he's a more physical receiver. I love Justin Jefferson, but I think Jamar Chase is a more physical receiver. I think he's better after the catch. I mean, their stats are very similar. I know Justin Jefferson doesn't have Joe Burrow, but I think Jamar Chase is a better overall receiver after the catch. He's more physical. His body control. He doesn't get hurt. He's not injury prone. We've seen Justin Jefferson. He's had a few injuries already. So I think if I'm going for longevity, I think I'm taking Jamar Chase. No discredit to Justin Jefferson because he's had a spectacular career. He's already broken a bunch of records. He had the rookie record and then Jamar Chase broke it. But if you're giving me a receiver, I think I have to take Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson. I really do. I understand Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have had that connection since LSU, but Jamar Chase is spectacular after the catch. I mean, he is insane in the open field. It's like Malik Neighbors is like a mix of Odell and Jamar Chase, and you get Malik, and that's what you get. It's like how I think about Malik Neighbors, and that's how I think of Jamar Chase. Like they're just both so special in the open field. It's like, and I know Justin Jefferson gets double and triple teams, but man, Jamar Chase is a force on the field, and he's just so much more physical. Go ahead.
I love both wide receivers. LSU was one of the schools I applied to. I could have saw them win a natty.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I think it's 2 different games. One, I'm not trying to discredit Jamar Chase and his route running, but I think if you were to say like, oh, who's a better route runner, I'm going Justin Jefferson. I've seen him get open. like all the time, right? But Jamar Chase is a bigger athlete. He's a wide receiver that you can throw more 70-30 balls. I'd say 80-20, to be honest. Um,
Yep.
if you're looking at his stats this year, he has been taking over games and carrying fantasy teams all around the nation. He
177 last night for 14 receptions.
And this wasn't his only game he had multiple touchdowns or like crazy yards. He did that
Nope.
against the Ravens in the second half. Now,
He had what, 220 yards, 230 yards?
yes, ridiculous. I would also go with Jamar Chase. I love the bigger wide receiver. That's not trying to discredit Justin Jefferson. I want to add Jamar Chase was putting up these numbers with T. Higgins at the time, back in the earlier years. Justin Jefferson, who was he fighting for? Adam
Nobody
Thielen.
this year,
Yeah, was he
right?
fighting Adam Thielen? Like, let's be honest, he became the wide receiver one immediately. T. Higgins was still that dude. For a minute. This year too, you can argue Jamar Chase has been on a team with a bad offensive line play, with wide receivers in and out the lineup. Jermaine Burton was on the slot gambling when he was out, inactive. Justin Jefferson, he has a great supporting cast. He doesn't have to always get double teamed. I'm not saying both of them get their fair looks, in my opinion. But yeah,
absolutely.
That's just my case for Jamar Chase.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we had this conversation last year when the Vikings and the Bengals played each other, and I know Jamar Chase. Yes, the Vikings and the Bengals played each other last year because that was Nick Mullins and Jake Browning. This was the December game on NFL Network last year, and Jamar Chase didn't play that game because he was hurt. But you pull up the stats this year. This is from this game last night. Jamar Chase has 93 receptions with 1,319 yards first. Both of those are first. Touchdowns first, 15. Averaging 14.2 yards a catch. It's 62nd. Whatever. 75 receptions, Jefferson. Jefferson also missed some time. 1,170 yards second behind Chase. 7 touchdowns, and then he's at 15.6 yards a catch, averaging.
Quarterback play does matter. I give all credit to Jamar having history ready with Joe Burrow. That's
100%.
That said, if you're looking at it from an offensive standpoint, right, or scheme-wise, Justin Jefferson is similar to Amon-Ra. He's getting a lot of looks because the offensive coordinator and head coach knows he is our playmaker. We need to get him involved immediately. Jamar Chase, on the other hand, he does not get those looks all the time.
No. So if I needed a receiver for a one playoff set, I'm taking Jamar Chase, and if I'm taking my wide receiver one in the draft between Chase and Jefferson, I'm taking Jamar Chase. I don't think it's a far-fetched statement to say that Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the NFL. I really don't. I mean, he's right there with you have AJ Brown, you have Justin Jefferson, you've had Amon-Ra, Jamar, CD. Like, I mean, the conversation has to be had. Yeah, I think I would have to take Jamar. I love Justin Jefferson, but from what I've seen, what Jamar has done this season, it's been remarkable, especially even in a contract year too. He is proving to the Bengals how valuable and how important he is.
Should have paid him last season.
Should have paid me in the offseason, because now I'm going to demand more than what I wanted last year. It's personal. He wants more than just over a penny over Justin Jefferson. He wants a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand on that. But man, last night's game was an insane game. Cowboys Bengals. DeMarvion Overshown towards ACL, PCL, and MCL. One of the most talented players on the Cowboys roster this year. And, Micah Parsons walked off the field. He was in tears after the game, but everyone was, up and at it at Micah Parsons. He recorded this podcast earlier. What do I make of Micah Parsons walking off the field after the game, before the game even was over? It's a bad sportsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
You're a player in the National Football League. I understand you wear your heart on your sleeve. You've been hurt this year. Your team isn't as good as they're supposed to be. Dak Prescott got hurt. You've had injuries. Guys have been in and out of the lineup. You've had problems with Mike McCarthy all year. You can't do this in this situation. You have to stay on the field. It doesn't even matter about the jersey signings after the game and swapping jerseys. It's about sportsmanship. You can't just walk off the field when you lose. That's a sore loser. I understand he's upset and he doesn't want that to happen. But you can't just walk up because the media is going to come after you. It's not a good look. Boom, 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 boom. Same thing with Caleb Williams against what was it when
Washington.
or USC played Washington last
Yeah.
year, and he was crying, and his mom slapped. Same type thing.
No.
You can't do this in this type of situation. Is Micah Parsons knows better? He knows the heat and the flack he's going to get. Does it look good on the organization? Does it look good for the star player to walk up the field 10 seconds before the game is over? No. I know you lost the game, and then 2 weeks or a week prior before that with Micah Parsons, he goes, "We're still a really good team." Of course, he's going to say that, so you can make whatever you want out of that. However, you can't walk up the field in this situation. You can't walk up where the game is over. You're a national football player in the NFL. You're one of the best players in the NFL. You're up for a contract soon, and the question now remains, Ethan, is will the Cowboys be able to retain Micah Parsons, or does Micah Parsons leave in free agency? Who knows?
As an Eagles fan, let me just first say, how about them
You can,
Cowboys? Second
yeah,
off,
right.
I just want to say that him walking off, I understand his frustrations. I think there's, if I recall correctly, they are 7 for 8 at their home games. So the only game they beat were the Giants at home. This game almost
Thanksgiving game, yeah.
This game should have came back to the Cowboys too, so I can see where his frustrations are. They can't ever figure out a whole entire 4-quarter game. That punt block, man, that was detrimental, and it hurt that you're on defense and you let Jamar Chase score a touchdown. So I can understand his frustrations. Also, before we keep going forward, shout out and I wish him prayers for his health and everything for DeMarvion Overshown. He was very talented. As an Eagles fan, I don't want any injuries, so hopefully he does well and recovers.
Yeah, he's a really talented player. He's out of Texas. His rookie year, he tore his ACL, and now we're back where we were to his rookie year. He tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL, and he was a really bright spot of that team. And it sucks. And I don't know what to make of the Dallas Cowboys, because you can clown them as a fan perspective and have fun, and the Cowboys and they suck, but man, they've got some talent on that team. I mean, Deron Bland is good. Parsons is good.
How much
DeMarcus
talent?
Lawrence has been out. Helmet. It's insane. I don't know how. I mean, Prescott got hurt. CeeDee Lamb, like there's pieces there. They couldn't figure out the run game earlier in the year. Now they figured it out with Rico Dowdle. He looks like he's coming into emerging as running back one, which he is now. But I don't get it. I really don't, because like it's earlier a few weeks ago they looked awful. They got blown out by about a month ago they got blown out by the Lions, and then Prescott got hurt with the hamstring injury. I really don't. And then Cooper Rush, turned back into the backup quarterback he was in the second half. He was starting to throw ducks.
He was looking nice.
Receivers. He just, right. So it's like, it sucks, because like at some point the Cowboys are going to have to figure it out. Like, is it a Mike McCarthy problem? Is it a Dak Prescott problem? It's not a Dak Prescott problem right now.
I hope they extend him.
Who, Dak Prescott?
No,
or
they
McCarthy?
already did. I hope they extend Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. So, Jerry Jones said that they're probably not going to remove. They're not going to move on from him. And like Trayvon Diggs, like he's shown flashes. He had that one good year. He's up and down.
Living
is he a true
on
cornerback?
That one good year. He
respected
that so bad. Yeah.
Yep. It's like I really don't know what to make of the Cowboys. I don't want to spend too much time on them. That's why there is an off season. But if the Cowboys were smart, I think they should. I know there's no real tanking in football. They should have started Trey Lance a few games ago. You had nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Why are you not giving
the
same talent? Thing. And as an Eagles fan, I'm terrified if Trey Lance actually figures it out, because they would have their answer. You could trade Dak Prescott, dump load the dead cap into future years, and actually
Trey Lance
build.
Just doesn't look good. From what we've seen so far, but he hasn't really gotten a fair shot.
No.
And it sucks, because it would have been nice to see him. But we're going to move on to the Sunday night game here, the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's like, badoink, badoink, badoink. Well, if the Chargers would have scored at any points in the first half, they probably would have won the game, because they were down 13-0. They came back. They went up 14-13, and then they kicked a field goal and made it. It was 14-13. They kicked the field goal there. I honestly don't know what to make of the Chargers with that game there. I mean, they were in a really close game. The Chiefs are very, very lucky. I mean, man, but you know what? Mahomes, though, man, he had that play to Kelsey at the end of the game. I think it was like 3rd and 5. He rolls out. He finds Kelsey of course, in the soft spot of the zone. They know how to win. Either it's sorcery, it's luck. I think it's a mix of everything. But I don't think we've ever seen this in the NFL. I mean, I don't think in a 17-game season, even when it used to be 16 games, even the Patriots, being a fan all those years, we got lucky sometimes, but nothing like this. I don't think I've ever seen this. The blocked kick against the Broncos, the blocked field goal,
the toe touch on the Ravens,
the toe touch, the Ravens,
the PI call on the Falcons,
the PI call against the Falcons. the one Black Friday, the Ben Powers Johnson bot snap
Yeah.
with the crazy snap, the badoink. It's like, how many more times? It's like, are the Chiefs that good? Or is it going to come back to bite them in the postseason? Because I think if I've said this, in order to beat the Chiefs, you got to put pressure on Mahomes. You got to try to beat them at their own game. But the Chiefs are, if there's anything with the Kansas City Chiefs this year, Ethan, I think they're the most vulnerable they've ever been.
Yes,
Their offense,
they're
their offense
beatable.
isn't. They're beatable.
I
Their
want
offense isn't
them.
fully healthy. Their offensive line has not been very good, other than their tackle wise.
Do you
We don't
know
know
how many
Mhm,
times
mhm.
that tackle is misaligned or holding, and
Oh,
they're not getting the
Juwan
calls?
Taylor.
How,
Yep,
I
yep,
don't understand. I can't fathom the
yep,
ideas that are going in the refs' heads or the referees' heads that
yep.
they don't call it every play. He's doing it
I
every
know.
play.
It's like they call it when they want to. And in my thing about the Chiefs too, it's like I can't figure out. I really can't. Like, are they a good team? Are they over? They're not overperforming because they've been in these tight, close games. It's like, and if you're a Vegas better, you're never going to bet Chiefs minus or -4. You're going to take the plus with the underdog because they never cover. They don't cover. But sticking here on the Chiefs, they are vulnerable. They are beatable from what we've seen. Now they could be having this season like this, and they come into the playoffs and they play totally different, and it's a one game set, just kind of like how it was last year. But their secondary this year is not as good as it was last
No
year. They
Snead.
lost L'Jarius Sneed. They lost Jalen Waddle to an ankle injury. They pulled Zeke Johnson, the number 13 there. They benched him 2 games ago. They brought in DJ Humphries because Wanya Morris and Kingsley from TCU, the rookie, the tackle, hasn't panned out yet.
Yeah.
Mahomes has been on his tail a lot. He's been under duress. We saw it against the Chargers this Sunday night. They're beatable. They're vulnerable. We don't know. I don't know what to make of the Chiefs. Are they a good team? Or are they just finding ways to win? Like, what's going on here? Andy Reid's a great coach. They still have the system in play there, but they are beatable. And I think if this is the year, they can be beat. They really can be beat. I really think so.
Sidetrack just for a quick sec. If Justin Herbert has wide receivers, they win this game.
They win that game.
Vlad McConkey.
If Vlad McConkey plays that game, they win
that game.
Yep.
Earlier in the season, they were without both their tackles, without
Yep.
Joey Bosa Positive and Derwin James.
Yep.
And that was a close game.
Yep.
Give Justin Herbert some more help, please. I'm tired of him seeing these hits. He's getting injured. That said, with the Chiefs, it's looking a little familiar as an Eagles fan from last season. These little lucky wins, eventually they'll catch up to you. That said, they have Hollywood Brown coming back in the playoffs.
And I think Rashee Rice is going to come back too. However, can Hollywood Brown and Patrick Mahomes get on the same page and have that chemistry?
We'll see.
and that content? That's the thing. But I don't want to bet against the Chiefs.
I'm betting
of course,
Chiefs.
because
I want them in the Super Bowl.
They've been. Oh, you want a Chiefs? You want a Kelsey Bros?
Yes.
Oh no,
no.
Kelsey not the NFL anymore. But yeah, no. I mean, it'll be interesting because it looks like they're going to get home field advantage. The Steelers one is going to be a good game, but they think they could finish 16-1.
Yeah, it's disgusting, nasty work. They should have lost to the Broncos. That was the only one that I think woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, the Broncos won. That was insane. The blocked kick there. I mean, that game was actually before the Bills won, and I was like, well, if they lose to the Broncos, they lose to the Bills, they're not going to be the 1 seed now. But I mean, realistically, right now we got the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills in the AFC. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see.
The Chiefs are showing that they're beatable on defense.
Yep.
Which is why the Bills won. And I think if Lamar faces them, Lamar has a chance to actually rewrite history and win again.
All right. So moving away from the NFL, our scores from the NFL this past weekend, you had the Giants with the blocked kick against the Saints. Nothing to really talk about from the Jags and the Titans. Bucks and the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell got hurt. Bucks rolled in that game. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, I didn't really watch. Philly, in your game, I caught a glimpse of it. I know Leggett dropped the touchdown. The Dolphins beat the Jets. The Jets, I call them the just end the season because they missed the playoffs for 14 straight years. Rodgers needs to go to the retirement home.
No. Get him a real offensive coach, please, or offensive coordinator. Nathaniel Hackett's horrible.
He's not the coordinator anymore. It's
Todd
Downing.
He's also bad though. Look at both of them passing wise.
I know, but it's time for Rodgers to retire.
No,
he's old, man.
I'm not ready.
That's
my goal. That's my goal.
No,
I miss him.
It's time.
No,
it's time.
I can't fail.
The experiment hasn't worked out yet.
I'll eat the crow. I'll keep eating the crow, but I have to.
So what happens? What happens next year when Rodgers if he has another bad year?
Okay, then Then if he has 2 back-to-back, let him. But mind you, he's coming off a whole injury and a season
Achilles.
out. Yeah.
I don't know if the Jets are gonna like how the Jamal Adams they didn't let him in the building. I don't
Fine.
know if the Jets are gonna bring him back.
Fine.
I
Let him
don't
go
think he's
somewhere
gonna.
else. Trust me.
Where's
Give him one shot.
he gonna go?
Send
The
him.
Raiders?
No. Let me think. Let me think of a
See
team with us.
when you think about it, where's Rodgers gonna go?
Send him to the Saints. I'd
Oh.
love to see him and Alvin Kamara with Chris Olave. I'll tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers is not
No, the
going to
Saints
throw
need
a
to
bad
go
ball.
younger. The Saints need to go younger.
Okay.
They need to go younger. Derek Carr is out his way out as well. No. He needs to retire.
No. Wait.
It's
How about
time.
let me pitch this. Send A-Rod to the other side of New York. Send him to the
Giants?
Hey, whoa. They have nothing to lose. Let's just say
What?
they get to sit back and do the Jordan Love experiment with a top 5 quarterback.
With Cam Ward,
Shador, Carson Beck. I don't know who they want. I don't really care.
Not going to be Carson.
But let's just see Aaron Rodgers cook for just one season. One more. Give him one more.
The Giants aren't cooking anytime soon.
Give Malik Neighbors a real quarterback that can throw to him. Trust me.
The Giants' offensive line isn't very good. The Giants have a lot more problems than quarterback.
Wait, I know they have the offensive line.
Rodgers needs to go to a contender.
What contender?
Anything.
I'm just trying to think of a team that needs a quarterback. What contender?
Rodgers needs to go to a team that could is like Super Bowl win now mode. We thought the Jets were that with their roster, but they haven't fixed the offensive line. They went and traded for Devontae Adams. And they haven't fixed their offensive line. The Jets are a dumpster fire. It might be time. It might be time.
You know what? You're right. Send him down to Miami. Send him down to Miami. Let him chill.
No, I knew you were going to say that. They're not going to get rid of Tua.
Oh yeah, damn. Tua's had an extension.
Yeah,
okay, you're right. I don't know where to send him.
There's the retirement home. It's
no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that.
The Vikings?
Oh wait, send him to the Titans.
No, Will Levis.
Wait, no, Will Levis is not that good. And if you're looking at it too defensively,
but the Titans aren't that. Yeah, defensively,
they have one of the best defenses. Offensively, if you're looking at it too, scheme wise, that's a great head coach. They have the talent.
Oh, Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the offensive line has definitely improved too because they hired his father. Yeah, so they have Tony Pollard, Spears in the background. They have Calvin Ridley, who has shown at times can be flashy. Tyler Boyd, draft a better wide receiver. The Burks experiment is over. Trust me.
I don't know.
Send them to the Titans. Send them to Titans. Let's see.
Rodgers to the Titans.
Why not? You have nothing to lose. Will Levis isn't winning you games.
Yeah, did the Jets just let him walk and he just goes to the Titans? Rodgers is going to play till the wheels fall off. He's a stubborn guy. He's going to go, I'm going to play until I can't play anymore. You're going to have to wheel him off the field.
I'm a kid. I'm not ready to give up on his hero. He's the reason why I love football and the good old mentality gunslinger. I'm not ready for it.
It's got to. I mean, Brady retired for me. That was tough for me. I mean,
it's not the same because he got to go to a stacked team that was just a quarterback away, right? I just want to see Aaron Rodgers do that too. You cannot tell me the Jets were a quarterback away. Clearly not. We thought they were.
No, they had the talent. They just didn't have the offensive line.
Sucks. The offensive line sucks. It's horrendous. It's always been horrendous.
The offensive line is horrible. I agree. All right, here MLB. Last part about the MLB here. Juan Soto to the New York Mets.
Disgusting.
Oh, the Yankees just signed Max Fried to an 8-year, $218 million deal. But Juan Soto, I don't know what to make of the Juan Soto thing because it's almost like a Lamborghini. You rented a Lamborghini for a year and you couldn't afford the Lamborghini. You're like, well, you know
the down payment's too much.
We're going to go down to Miami for the year, and we're just going to rent this Lamborghini for a year. We're just going to see if hot girls will look at the Lamborghini. We're just going to see if people will take pictures of it. Like, I know inside we probably can't afford him, even though, we have a really big business or we have a lot of money. But, we don't know if we can. It's like the Yankees, the same thing. It's like, you're the New York Yankees. How can you not afford Juan Soto? I understand plan B. You want to get all these other guys to fill the roster and Juan Soto, but he should have been priority one. But the problem with the Yankees is, and this could be the same thing with the Bengals with Jamar Chase. This could come back to backfire on them. Jamar Chase still has 1 year left on his contract, one more year.
Yeah.
However, when you play hardball with these sports athletes and their agents are sitting there, and it's like Draymond Green and Kevin Durant's ear with the agent to the player, when you know your worth, you're going to command more money on the open market. You're going to command more money in free agency. It's like, we can get you for a cheaper price if we sign him now. It's like the Yankees did this with Aaron Judge. It almost backfired on them because he could have signed with the Padres. He could have signed anywhere he wanted to.
The
He
Giants.
decided to go back to the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Giants, the arson Judge.
Yeah.
So Soto, I hope it works out for Soto in the Mets because that's a lot of money for one player.
$765 million.
700. That's more than Ohtani. That's 65 more than Ohtani. And it's not just about the $5 million for Juan Soto. There's a lot more to it. He said something about the Yankees' security with his family. They didn't really make his family feel safe, and he's really big on that. After they lost to the Dodgers, Yankees fans were upset because he turned his cap backwards. But when you sit there and he's in the press or getting interviewed by the media after the World Series and the game is over, and he's like, "I'm going to listen to all 32 teams in the MLB."
We knew,
rightfully so.
He's that type of
Why
player.
wouldn't I?
Yep. But there's certain players that play for the ring, the legacy, right? Or the ring and the legacy, and there's players that play for the money. Respectfully, Juan Soto, no discredit to you. You made $765 million. What am I to say, right?
Right.
But clearly, it was about the money. Let's keep it a buck. There's no way in heck 100%. The Yankees couldn't afford him. The Yankees, there's no baseball cap salary. That's the only reason why I can't watch baseball. There's no cap salary. The big teams always pay. They have the money to pay. Look at the freaking Dodgers. They are paying that later. But is it worth the World Series now? Yes, it is. They're deferring it all the way until later. It's worth the money now because you're going to make that eventually.
Blake Snell as well. And that's the thing, too, with my problem with Juan Soto with the Yankees is you could have paid him a while earlier in the year.
Yes.
You waited. You wanted to play the hardball game. You wanted to wait to the winter meetings, just like Alabama. You lost to Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. You have only yourselves to blame.
Oh, what
to
a
not
tie!
Making the playoffs.
What a blend right there. Okay.
The Yankees have only themselves to blame.
Yes.
Because of the Juan Soto sweepstakes. You knew teams were going to come out.
Yes.
Either you knew that you know that you've known this the entire time, but they also made sure that, well, you know what, if we lose him, we can go. I hope it works out because I'm a Yankees fan, which is weird. I'm a Yankees and a Patriots fan.
Interesting. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, I actually have family members that are I was born in Rhode Island, so a lot of my family members did not grow up as Red Sox fans. With Rhode Island, it's kind of like a hodgepodge. You get a lot of people from New York, and you have people that move from New York to Rhode Island, and Rhode Island is not technically the Boston, so you get people that move from New York to Rhode Island, and you have that Yankees-Patriots thing. Like my cousin's a Yankees-Patriots. My other cousin is. My uncle's a Giants and a Patriot, or my uncle's a Giants and a Yankees fans, and my grandma's a Yankees and a Giants fan, so you get that. So it's weird. But going back to Juan Soto and the Yankees, it's really interesting because now you're going to go out there and you're going to, well, we want to get that guy. It's like Lakers fans. It's like, oh, well, we lose our main guy. Like we wanted Kyrie Irving, we didn't get him, so now we're going to go stack the roster with all these with these role players, and we're going to go get this, we're going to go get that. It's like, you could have had him.
You could have.
But and then I thought about this one as well, Ethan, with the Mavericks, right? Kyrie Irving became a free agent. The Mavericks traded for him. Right? Yeah, the Mavericks traded for him from the Nets.
Yeah,
and they signed him. And then he signed that big extension last summer. But they made sure they kept their guy.
Had to,
just like the Yankees should have done with Juan Soto. And I think too with Juan Soto, another thing is I think he thought to himself, well, if Judge is getting that money, I can get that. Why can I get that money on the open market from another team? Because I know teams are going to do whatever it takes to pay me because I'm the biggest free agent this offseason. So I'll go to the Mets. I know their owner's going to pay me, and I don't want to be second fiddle to Aaron Judge. I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy. I want to be the face of the franchise. I want to be the guy. I hit the walk-off for the Yankees against the Guardians. I feel like I won that World Series. Why can't I go do that for the Mets and be their number one guy?
You think it's stardom? Like their flashiness. Yes. He wants to be the headline.
Because he wants to be the headline guy. I think I think it's obvious. The Soto shuffle, the music,
I would
all that.
Say it's different for certain players. Let's just look at Shohei for example, right? He could have gotten money anywhere. Let's be honest.
He couldn't care less.
Yeah,
he wanted to win.
But he hasn't gone to the playoffs. He hasn't had success. So why not just go to a team?
Why not pick the Dodgers?
Yeah, you're basically staying in LA. They're winning. Why not?
Yep.
Right.
No, and that's right. If Juan Soto was smart, he would have stayed with the Yankees because I think he would be able to build more of a legacy with the Yankees. But I think he cares about money. He proved that because they're like, oh, well, it was over $5 million, and the Yankees offered him it was between 15 years and 16 years, and the Mets offered him some more money. He didn't care about winning. Juan Soto
Millions?
did not care
Yeah.
about winning.
10
It's not that
million
much
and
money. It's
winning?
not that when you're over 700 million and you're getting all these endorsement deals and you've already made a bunch of money at your time in the MLB, you already have a World Series. He
Oh
don't
yeah,
care.
with
He
the
doesn't care about
Nationals, right?
with
Yeah.
the Nationals. Yes, back in 2019,
Ooh,
he'd never
that
he
that
never
could be
cared
the
about winning.
argument then too. He already won his
Mhm.
ring. Some people, after you
Yep.
win the one ring, your goal, just chase the bag after. It's understandable.
Yep. Yep. Well, sports wise, I think that does it for that. We'll do a little quick Wicked recap. I think my friends have been waiting for me to talk about it. Wicked was an amazing movie, Ethan. I know you said your friends saw it. You have to see the movie.
Okay.
I'm wearing a Wicked t-shirt right now. When the movie started off, I was like, oh man, like I'm confused because I haven't seen the play. I know there's two acts, which act one and act two, and I'm like, whoa, we're gonna get into the storyline, and then it got into the storyline. Ariana Grande, Glinda, and Cynthia Erivo, who played Elphaba, they crushed their role. And I thought what was so interesting about the movie is they sung all of those songs like from like by themselves, like they did
Ooh.
everything on their own. It's a 2 hours and 2 hour and 40 minute movie. It keeps you on your seat the entire time. They even made some of the sets. That's why it took them so long to make the movie. But man, it was a good movie. What's up? What's
Are
up?
are you a musical guy?
I'm not even a big musical guy.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
thing.
I might
So
even
like
watch this then.
I am not the biggest musical guy, but yes, it was very musical heavy,
Mhm.
and that's why I was asking before I saw the movie. I was like, is every scene going to be a musical? It wasn't. Not every
Mm.
scene. They tied in a lot of loose ends with that. But man, the story between Elphaba and Glinda was really cool. I don't want. I don't. I guess that's spoiling for you. You can whatever. But it was cool to see because Elphaba, they make the Wicked Witch and the Wizard of Oz out to be like this evil doer. She's really bad. She's this big bad green witch. She's mean. She's not mean at all. Now that's the Wizard of Oz point. However, I did like the ending of the movie too, which was really cool with the how with Oz. They actually showed him. They showed the Yellow Brick Road, and I was like sitting there, I'm like the edge of my seat. And then how the movie ended, I'm like, no, don't end. And
Oh,
then it
I heard
ended like
about
that.
that.
She's in Elphaba's in the sky. She defying gravity. That's the last song of the movie. But yes, overall great movie.
What would
Ariana
you rate it?
Grande did amazing job. Yes, we talked about this actually at work. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Wicked for me
Ooh.
was an 8 out of 10. Yeah,
But
I loved it. Yeah,
because I don't know you, obviously, what is a 10 out of 10
yeah.
movie? So I can see
Oh,
what
I
a
don't know if I
ranking
could.
is.
I don't know if I could ever give a movie a 10 out of 10. A nine
Mm.
out of ten. I mean, I. Well, the Harry Potters are up there for sure for me, of
Okay.
course. I'm not like a big nerd into those movies like that. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, like Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm not all big into that stuff. But man, I don't know. A 9 out of 10 movie for me, I'd probably say like Great Gatsby was really good.
Ooh, okay.
Uh, I'm a big Leo guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people, think Top Gun was cheesy. I love Top
One or
Gun.
two.
Um, yeah, we had this debate. I think I don't know if I could say two. Top Gun Maverick was great, but I'm a stickler
Original
where
OG.
there's no without the original, there's no second one. So that's
Mm.
how I stick on that. Top Gun or Maverick, I'd probably give an 8 out of 10. The original,
Oh.
I'd probably give out a 9 out of 10. The cinematography, the production,
Mm.
same thing with Wicked. I'd have to go 8 out of 10. But yeah, everything was good. I loved how they incorporated the animals into it. I didn't even know Peter Dinklage was the goat. That was Dr. Dillamon. But yeah, great movie overall. I love how they did Shiz University. I mean, man, it was really good. I was really impressed. I was like, I didn't know really anything about it because I've never seen the play. I don't really know anything about it. I know the Wizard of Oz. You've seen the Wizard of Oz,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Classic.
So and they're all classic. So we're waiting for there's part two. We're waiting for a Wicked part two. But man, I mean, the characters were just spectacular. The roles, they killed it. I loved the dance ball scene they did,
Hmm.
the dancing they did. Everything was just spot on, man. I mean, you're like I had to go to the bathroom, but I
You
waited the
left.
entire time.
You left.
I did not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I had to go to the bathroom and I
Okay.
stayed the entire time. And
Mm.
I'm not even a big movie theater guy. I'd rather watch
Ooh.
it in the comfort of my own home.
Okay.
Yeah, I
This
have.
this is
Yeah,
off track question. What's the
yeah.
movie snack to go to?
I mean, I'm a big gummy bears guys,
Okay.
or a big gummy bear, or like Sour Patch Kids, or I like some Swedish fish. But movie theater popcorn, though, that's the thing about
Mm.
movie theater popcorn. It's like you can't
One
go
of
wrong. It's
one.
like nostalgic. It's
Yeah.
one of one. Movie theaters are so expensive
Yeah.
these days.
Yes. Tuesday. Always go
I
Tuesday.
Tuesday $5 AMC
$5.
movies.
Yep.
I spent $13 on my ticket. I spent another um t- uh $10 for popcorn and another 7 for an icy. So that's
Mm.
17 plus 13
What
is that's
what
$30.
color icy combo?
Oh, not combo, just Coca-Cola.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, Coca-Cola. Yeah, but the thing about ices though too, another thing is if you don't drink the icy fast, it waters down
Waters
so
down.
quick.
You have
And
to.
it just becomes into just a regular Coca-Cola drink.
And you always have to go take a leak in the middle, right when the climax starts.
I was holding my pee the entire movie. I'm not getting up from this movie.
Real.
I'm not missing a second of it. Now, am I the type of person, would I watch Wicked a second time?
Ooh,
When I left the theater, I was talking to my friend. I was like, I don't know if I would see it a second time in theaters,
first impression
but
is
I
good
would
enough.
watch it I would watch it at home. I
Mm.
would. Now I want to see the play. And another thing too, I talked to some of my friends with Act 1 and Act 2. The movie did a really good job, and they really added on from the play itself, because the play is one of the most famous plays of all time. I'm not big into Broadway like that,
Mhm.
but man, they did a really good job. And Ariana Grande, she crushed her role completely. So did Cynthia Erivo. I mean, it was good. It was PG-13 too. It wasn't like crazy. There wasn't really anything inappropriate. I loved the magic in it. Like you said, the music was great. Their voices were awesome. I loved how they kind of did the